The intriguing life of the Arellano Felix. One of drug trafficking's most publicly known family, the Arellano Felix consolidated one of the bloodiest cartels in Mexico, known as the Tijuana Cartel, which is still led by family members until today. Beyond being a family of blood, the Arellano Felix formed the biggest and most powerful cartel in Mexico, the Tijuana Cartel. The Arellano Felix family, composed of 11 brothers, was one of the largest and most bloodthirsty cartels operating in Mexico in the 1980s and 1990s. The formation of the Tijuana Cartel, the roots of the cartel, like most Mexican cartels, began in the state of Sinaloa. Its founding members were Sinaloans who worked closely with the legendary trafficker Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, who began smuggling marijuana and heroin into the United States in the 1960s. Miguel worked with a group of Sinaloans that included Pedro Perez, Rafael, Caro, and Ernesto Fonseca. The group fled from Sinaloa to Tijuana in the late 1970s during a military raid, which included mass detentions. In the midst of the offensive, the police killed Pedro Perez, although he was quickly replaced by a new generation, including a great Sinaloan named Joaquin Guzman Lara, well known as El Chapo. I have a whole video about El Chapo. The link is in the description. After working for several years with Felix Gallardo, El Chapo would create the Sinaloa cartel. The other members of the group were preparing their future replacements. Fonseca's two nephews, Armando and Vicente Fuentes, who would later create the Juarez cartel with the Arellano Felix brothers, forming the spine of the Tijuana cartel. But who's who in the Arellano Felix family? Eduardo Arellano Felix is one of the heads of the Tijuana Cartel, and during this organization, he became one of the most wanted Mexican drug traffickers in the history of Mexico. Benjamin Arellano Felix. Benjamin and his brothers did not start out as drug traffickers, but as smugglers of electronics and clothing. It was thanks to this business and his charismatic personality that Benjamin began to make contacts within the mafia and the drug industry, who introduced him to the sale of marijuana. One of these contacts was Javier Caro, who worked for Miguel Gallardo, his uncle and leader of the Guadalajara cartel, who introduced him to the organization as leader of the Tijuana location. Benjamin was arrested twice. The first time was on June 18, 1982 in California, after he was caught delivering 100 kilos of cocaine. However, thanks to his contacts, he managed to evade justice and return to Mexico. The second and final was on March 9, 2002, when federal agents traced his location to a house in the city of Puebla and arrested him. 9 years later, he was extradited to the United States, where he received a 25-year sentence, which he is currently serving in a maximum security prison in Pennsylvania. Ramon Arellano Felix. Unlike Benjamin, Ramon is considered the most antipathic of the Arellano Felix family and was the second in charge of the family business. He was in charge of the cartel members' security, as well as settling of any issues related to the cartel's growth. He became known for his viciousness and cruelty. Later on, he was linked to a massacre in California in which 12 members of the same family were killed. The victims were allegedly part of a distribution channel in the area and owed large amounts of money to the Tijuana cartel. However, it was precisely Ramon Felix's violent temperament that led to his own death. In February 10, 2002, at the request of his brothers, Ramon traveled to Mazatlan to assassinate Ismael Ambada Garcia, known as El Mayo, a member of the Sinaloa cartel. While driving through the city, he was stopped by a traffic officer who had no idea who he really was. Furious, Ramon pulled out his gun and shot the officer, who responded with a shot that hit the drug trafficker in the head, ending his life instantly. Ernesto Arellano Felix, one of the most powerful female members of the Tijuana cartel, known as La Jefa or La Narcomami. Ernesto was the brains behind the Tijuana cartel. She studied accounting and was in charge of the organization's finances and all the money laundering. Her intelligence caused many guys to become interested in her. One of them was Armando Lopez, known as El Rayo, Chapo's friend and compadre. However, Ernesto's brothers did not like this romance and killed Del Rayo in 1987 and ending the relationship with Ernesto. This murder sparked a series of vendettas and attacks between the Sinaloa and Tijuana cartels, which left thousands dead in northwest Mexico during the 1990s. Francisco Rafael Arellano Felix was the eldest of his 7 brothers who ran the criminal organization and was responsible for the purchase, sale, and movement of drugs on behalf of the cartel. On October 18, 2013, he was killed by an armed individual disguised as a clown who shot him 5 times during a children's party with VIP guests at an elegant hotel. It is presumed that the killer was El Chino, who was the highest-ranking hitman of the Sinaloa cartel. Francisco Felix was unarmed and without bodyguards because he had retired from the criminal life 5 years prior to his death. Various reports claim that after the arrest of the Tijuana Cartel's leaders, power of the organization is now in the hands of the sister, Arellano Felix, who operates in a smaller scheme than what for many years was the organization, as she now leads the drug business alongside her nephews, who also carry one of the surnames of the criminal empire, Arellano Felix. Thanks guys for watching the video. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel and leave a comment.